Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros. This is the Fantasy Baseball Podcast. It is me, Joey P, Joe Pizzapia, and today it's Mock Draft 2.0. A couple weeks ago, we did our first mock draft. We shake the dust off of ourselves from football and from the MLB offseason. And even though the offseason is still in a pause right now for Major League Baseball, we're never in a pause. So we figured, you know what, that was one mock draft. It's time to do another one. And I invited two of my favorite human beings on the entire planet. One I have known for most of my life, and the other is Dan Strafford. No, I'm kidding. It's the inverse of those things. But two dear friends of mine. We have Dan Strafford, the host of The Dish, a new podcast out there for you. I encourage everybody. He's interviewing some of the best minds in fantasy baseball, picking their brains and learning from it, and somehow I ended up in there too, don't ask me how. And then Justin Mason, who you know, of course, from The Sleeper and the Bust, from the creation of TGFBI, from Friends with Fantasy Benefits, and today we're going to do a 5x5 Roto-style mock draft again, and we're going to try to keep it a little tighter than last time. Bogman, Welsh, and myself tend to... beat Bogman, Welsh, and myself. That's just the nature of us together. But boys, it's great to have you. Justin, I know you're fresh off of getting 4,000 people in a league together for TGFBI, but it's a great cause you guys are doing. So again, let's plug it away, man. It's good to see your face. How things are going.
Oh man, things are going awesome. I was also on The Dish, so I was not one of those really smart people that Dan had on. But it was a blast. Definitely go check out Dan's podcast. TGFBI in full swing. Just 465 people are going to raise some money for charity. This year's charity that we're raising money for is a person, actually. It's a person within our industry. Emily Walden was recently diagnosed with breast cancer, and she's undergoing treatment for that. She's got a GoFundMe account, so we're raising money to go towards that. We're also selling T-shirts, TGFBI T-shirts, and part of the proceeds for that go to Emily Walden as well. So it's a great time of year. It's draft season, but it's also time to help out those who are in need. And Emily is a great part of our industry, and I'm really happy to be helping support her.
And where can everyone go to get the shirts and everything? Just to be clear, where it's
Rotoware. Go to Rotoware.
Where you are a professional model. We all know that.
Exactly. Yeah. Go to rotoware.com. Click on the Justin Mason collection, and you can get the TGFBI shirt. We're doing pre-sales until February 13th. So I don't know how many runs of it we're going to be able to do. So go get it now. Don't wait on it, and enjoy it, because it's a great shirt for a great cause.
Speaking of fashion icons, Dan Strafford, I know your collection probably consists of khakis and some sort of speckled or flanneled shirt, I believe, right? That's pretty much the Dan Strafford collection on a daily basis.
That's a fair point. There are more and more hoodie. I rock some sweatshirts from time to time, but yes, it's a button-down shirt and dark blue jeans. That's how we roll.
Tell us about The Dish. Tell us about what's going on there on the new program you started.
Sure. I was bored. So I basically realized I've been out of the podcasting and broadcasting game for more than a year, which is the longest I've been since probably 2000, to be honest. And just decided I was going to try to, I say this every year, be better at fantasy baseball. So I went to talk to smart people and pick their brains. And it is the laziest way for me to do research, is by getting really smart people to talk to me for 35 to 45 minutes and then sharing it with those who want to hear it as well. So it's been fun. Yourselves have been on. Jenny Butler, Steve Gardner, talked to Vlad Sedler, Paul Sporer, who both of you know quite well.
Never heard of him. Don't know him at all. Mason, do you know him?
He's all right.
He's all right. He's fine. And I hate using this word, but follower of yours on Twitter, Joe, made the point of actually talking about food around The Dish. So I've started asking people their favorite draft day meals, which has become fun as well. And Paul said, I'm not really a meal guy. Shocker, I know.
Yeah, he's like 130 pounds.
Exactly. Yeah, all he eats is chapstick. That's all he eats.
He and I used to be similar weights, but COVID got the better of me. But he said, it's candy and Red Bull. It's like, how do you...
I can attest to that. I've been in drafts before. It's Red Bull, it's chapstick, and I could see the candy thing too.
And he held up some sort of new nerd. Yeah. So
it's like candy. It's not chocolate. We're talking strict candy, sugar rush kind of stuff. That's definitely what Spore does. We're gonna have him.
Dandy, but liquor is quicker.
That's absolutely true. Before we get to our draft today, I want to remind everybody, obviously we're using our multi-user draft software tool. That's going to be available to the public in just a few weeks, but right now our MLB Draft Wizard tool is officially open for business. So the mock draft simulator is up and running at fantasypros.com/draftwizard. So head over there right now, and it's fantastic. You can start your draft, exit out of picks, go back, try things again, see what you like, how your team ends up. It's the greatest software you're ever going to use to get prepared for all your drafts. In, 10 minutes, you can run a draft or probably less, and you can customize it however you like, number of teams, draft slot, the settings for all your different individual leagues. So it really is a game changer in that sense. And I use it all the time to prepare. In fact, I did one this morning before this show just to kind of get the blood running. And I got an A, so we'll see now. The bar set very high. I'm sure it's going to be a C- by the time we're done. But anyway, again, that's over at fantasypros.com/draftwizard. So get on the Draft Wizard and start using that mock draft simulator today. And today we're going to be doing a 5x5 roto mock. We're going to have one catcher because two catchers is dumb. I refuse to do any draft with two catchers, even simulated. I won't do it. No, I'm not going to do it. We're going to have quarter infield, middle infield, 5 outfielders. We're going to have 2 starting pitcher spots, 2 RP spots, and then 5 just open pitcher spots. And then we're also going to have 1 utility and only 5 bench. I decided to cut it a little short. Usually we do 6, but, Justin Mason has a runway thing later on to model some new clothes.
This is very true. I have a lot of commitments within the fashion industry. I have 47 T-shirts, and my wife would.
I love that you have a collection. That's why it's called the Justin Mason collection. That is amazing.
Did you know, Joe, that I designed one of them?
You did not.
I did.
What did you do?
I will send you.
I should have worn that one today. That was
wait. Which one did he design? What is
it?
There's
a picture I took of my middle child playing with Magnetiles that looked like C-3PO, and that ended up being a version of Justin on a RotoWear shirt.
Yeah,
I gotta go see this.
I wore that exact shirt to an art exhibit. I took my wife to a Claude Monet exhibit and wore that shirt and then posed next to it because they were both works of art.
Yep,
fine art. That's what you get here. Fantasy baseball and fine art. You come for the baseball, but you stay for the art discussion. That's definitely it. My goodness. I don't even know how to transition out of this, so I'm not going to. So let's just kick things off here and let everybody know where we are. I am in the 3 spot. Dan Strafford has selected the 8 spot, and Justin Mason has selected the turn begrudgingly. He did not have to. Just so you know, he could have taken any spot he wanted, but he took the 12, so he's already setting himself in case he does not like how his draft ends up. He's already got a way out.
I felt like the right strategy would be to be as far away from you two as possible. And I think that's just a life strategy, but it works well.
On that note, let us unpause here and let us begin. And the first 2 picks, not surprising here. Fernando Tatis Jr. goes. Trey Turner goes next. So that is me, which everybody who knows Joey P knows that we're basically going to go with Juan Soto here. I'm the president and founding member of the Juan Soto fan club. And as we resume here, look, the top of the board's pretty easy. I want to get your take on it. Dan, real quick, if you had this spot, would you be going with Soto? Would you be going with Vlad, Jose Ramirez? Which way would you have gone?
I want Soto or Jose Ramirez for me.
How about you, Mason? Because you're doing, 5,000 NFBC drafts right now as we speak.
Yeah, it's Jose Ramirez. It's not particularly close for me. The depth at third base is not great this year. It really falls off a cliff after the first 5 or 6 third basemen. And then you get the speed. Especially if you're talking about a 5x5 roto, I want to get that speed early. I tweeted out earlier this week that there's only 34 players that are projected to steal 15 or more bases in fantasy baseball. So getting a guy like Jose Ramirez that can steal me a ton of bases. I love Juan Soto. In a points league, in an on-base percentage format league, Juan Soto is definitely a lot higher up on my list.
Don't patronize Juan Soto. You don't love him enough. Just leave it alone. I mean, just stop.
Correct.
After Juan Soto goes Vlad Guerrero, then Jose Ramirez. So Vladio leapfrog Jose Ramirez. So Justin's very unhappy with the bots here. Dan Strafford, you are on the clock with 19 seconds. Bo Bichette at 1-6. Garrett Cole goes 107. Dan Strafford, make your pick.
Right where I want it to be. I'm taking Bryce Harper here. Give me all of the baselines across all 5 categories on offense, and let's build from there.
And I've known Dan since high school. If there's one thing Dan loves, it's a good baseline. I can tell you that. You drop that baseline, Dan Strafford is out there on the dance floor, ready to go. The robot will be there. Shohei Ohtani goes at 109, 110, Mookie Betts, then Corbin Burns at 11. Justin Mason, you are on the clock for 2 picks. Go for it.
Oh man, I don't play in a lot of 12-team leagues. I play in mostly 15-team leagues.
Oh,
It's,
excuse us here at Fantasy Pros
I,
on the mock side today for the
I,
12-teamer.
I'm just a little bit like
Giddy.
salivating over the
Hmm.
options here at 12. Kyle Tucker, I'm going to take there. I mean, I think there is potential for like a 40-20 type season. If he hadn't run like a 119 BABIP through the first 2 months of the season, like he would have hit well over 300. Like I think he's an absolute monster in the making. I'm going to pair him with someone who is uh, way too underrated. And I was just talking with Paul Sporer on our podcast early this morning that Ozzy Albies should be a first-round pick in 15-team leagues. He went 30-20 last year. I think he's actually going to get a little bit more luck in terms of batting average, 100-100. I think people are just sleeping on Ozzy Albies for some reason.
All right, so Albies and Tucker. Tucker certainly a darling so far this offseason of a lot of analysts. In the second round, after Albies goes, we start there. Ronald Acuna, Walker Buehler, Mike Trout, 204, ladies and gentlemen. That just happened. Dan Strafford, you almost got Mike Trout in the second round. You can't not take him. I don't care who you took first. You got to take Trout in the second round, right?
Yeah, I'm in a 12-team draft elsewhere where I got Harper, Trout, DeGrom.
Only 12, not 27 teams like
no,
Justin Mason? Okay.
But here, I'm agreeing with Justin Stick in the first round on Jose Ramirez, and I'm going to draft Rafael Devers here. Even as a Yankee fan, I can recognize that this kid is he's the real deal. The power's there, and give me 8 to 10 stolen bases. Like that's where I'm going to try to make up not taking a real speed guy, is getting 8 to 10 from as many as I can.
All right, makes a lot of sense there. I'm going to be up next here, so I'm surveying the board, and as I do, obviously, we'll rattle off the rest of the names that were picked. So after Devers, Brendan Woodruff goes, Freddie Freeman, Jacob deGrom, Max Scherzer, so a little bit of a pitching run there. So for me right now, it's looking like Luis Robert, who is the 74% suggested pick here by our consensus, and that's very helpful. I could go with Starling Marte, but he's a Met, and that always worries me. Whenever somebody's a Met now, they go from being a great player to somebody who drives me absolutely crazy. But you know what? I'm going to take a little bit more power and some of the speed instead, and I'm going to double up in the outfield. I'm going to go ahead and take Luis Robert here, or Louis Robert, as Welsh and I like to call him at times. Zach Wheeler goes after that, then Marte goes at the turn with Shane Bieber, Manny Machado, and then back to me again. And I got to tell you guys, like I'm just not in love with the big pitching market this year. Like I don't like it. I'm just been passing on it the entire time. I don't know just where I'm at. I'm curious to get your thoughts on it after I make my pick here. Matt Olson on the board. Paul Goldschmidt, first base, is also something that's a little bit tricky. If the best pitcher on the board right now is Urias, who I do like, I just kind of struggle there if that is really enough for me to get involved with. I'm looking here at shortstop too. Tim Anderson's an interesting one too. Always going to give you good batting average. But you know what? At the end of the day, once again, I'm going to go with more outfield. That's right, Aaron Judge. We're going to go here, and we're just going to build this one up and see how it goes here. So, yeah, that's happening. We're going to see how it ends up. I don't know. I don't have a good feeling about it. Then we've got Teoscar Hernandez, Yordan Alvarez, Francisco Lindor, Tim Anderson goes after. I really thought long and hard about Anderson, but at the end of the day, I just don't think you can have enough power. I've got to find some more stolen bases somewhere. We'll see if I can get it done. Dan Strafford, you are on the clock. You've gone hitting with your first 2 picks, so where do you go next?
I'm going to stay there. The way the draft board is shaken out with the top pitchers off the board here, I will stick with outfield, and I'll go to someone that Justin loves, Cedric Mullins, off the board here.
Betrayal!
Betrayal! I mean, or the ultimate, love here. The numbers are legitimate. You heard about Crohn's disease too. The kid played through absolute pain and I love him. I think he's going to have a great season. Home runs might be down because of left field in Camden Yards, but I think the doubles and the average and RBIs and runs will be there with the speed as well. So I have no real qualms about picking him up there.
Yeah, I mean, you have a lot of qualms, too. I've known you for decades. The amount of qualms you have is stunning.
Mm-hmm.
So Mason is upset with you. That's the buzz, though, Mason. Everyone talks consistently about, we had Steve Gardner on a couple weeks ago on the show talking about that shift in that Baltimore ballpark and what that's going to do. Urias goes after at 309. Then Marcus Semien at 310. Xander Bogaerts at 311. Justin Mason, 10 seconds on the clock for 312.
Shoot.
5 seconds.
I'm going to take Trevor Story with my first pick. I'm a little worried about where he's going to end up, but I think wherever he ends up should be a pretty decent ballpark. I'm hoping he ends up with either Philadelphia or the Angels.
Oh, sure, yeah.
and then I'm gonna pop on my first closer here. The closing situations right now around Major League Baseball are really muddled. There's only about 8 to 10 guys I feel pretty confident about, so I'm gonna make sure I get one of the elite guys in just about every draft.
Yeah, I'm chasing you there. Looking at where Fantasy Pros has them ranked, honestly, a little further down than I expected when projecting out this draft. So I was going to hold out until the first one went. So now that they did, with you taking Hendricks, I'm jumping on Hader here. I've been in a few drafts already. I've missed on closers over and over again. So I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive.
All right, so Dan is aggressive. We've learned that about him. Continuing on with the rest of this draft, after Hendricks went, Robbie Ray, Wander Franco was hoping might make it to me. Whit Merrifield hoping it might make it to me. Neither did. Hader went to Dan, then Salvador Perez, Alcantara, Corey Seager, Matt Olson. So the pick is now to me, and Lucas Giolito looks like the top lift on the board. And you know what? I can live with Giolito as my number one guy there, and I think I'm going to. I think that works for me. He's going to give me some wins. He's going to give me strikeouts, 200 Ks. I like that, so I'll go ahead and break down and finally take a picture here. We'll see who makes it on the loop around to me. After that, Austin Riley goes, Aaron Nola goes, Kevin Gossman, Jose Altuve, and now I've got another decision to make. I could go with Randy Rosarena, who I'm being told by the Wizard is my top lift. Now, he's going to give me some power and some stolen bases there. I like that. I do have a ton of outfield already, as we all very well know. I could go with Paul Goldschmidt, who had a great second half here, or I could continue to go with the pitching market. You know what? I know the deficit is stolen bases. We've got one utility spot, so I'm just going to keep plugging away at this outfield, and we'll see what happens here. So after Gossman and Altuve, I took a Rosarena, trying to help a little bit. And if you like, you can always go during the mock draft simulator you're doing and look at the projections and see where your team is at, and you get an idea there, obviously, is what's going on, where you are, the picks that have already been made, and then you look over at the categories, you can see where your projected category finishes are, so you can continue to hammer through this draft, and it's very early, but it's a very cool feature here that we have at Fantasy Pros. So after Rosarena, Freddie Peralta went, who I love, Goldschmidt, Logan Webb at 506, Lance Lynn at 507, Dan Strafford, you are on the clock.
I'm going to take the advice here and go with Castellanos, who I think has the right profile to help the team as constituted, gives me the home runs, gives me the RBIs, and I'm hoping a player I did not draft here comes back to me on the way back.
Wow, that's exciting. I'm hoping somebody doesn't make it back to me. Nick Castellanos to Dan Strafford, Chris Sale, then Christian Yelich at 5'10". So there's your first spot of Christian Yelich and some of his risk players. Pete Alonso goes 5'11", right before Justin Mason. The top lift says Byron Buxton, I believe, on the board. Are you a Buxton believer? Let's see.
I am not a Buxton believer. I'm definitely not going to be taking Buxton here. I'm going to take another reliever. I'm going to take Raciel Iglesias with my first pick of this kind of turn. I'm hammering these early relievers. I don't even think I've got a starter yet in this league.
Yeah.
That is gonna change right here as I land.
You took two closers before a starting pitcher. Mm-hmm. This is madness, I tell you.
Totally fine with it, too. There's tons of starters. The starting pitching depth this year is insane. I'm totally fine waiting on starting pitchers, especially in a 12-team league. Let's see. My first starter off the board, I'm gonna take Joe Musgrove.
All right, Joe Musgrove.
I got Joe Musgrove as a top 20 starter. Waiting this long, I definitely want to pair him in the next couple rounds with a few more starters. But if you're going to wait,
you took Musgrove over Flaherty, Fried, Castillo, Barrios. That's how high you've got him this year.
Yes, I do. I mean, Flaherty. I love Flaherty's skills. Injuries, man. I don't trust him to stay on the field. So
that's fair. I like Musgrove, but that is that. There you go. Did it give you the reach alert? I'm just curious because sometimes we get the little emojis when you pick somebody.
I did not see that, but
all right.
I think
keep an eye out for the emojis.
They know who they're dealing with here.
That's true. Yeah, they know. Your fashion icon, Justin Mason.
Yeah.
Byron Buxton goes immediately after because he was mad at Justin Mason for not taking him. Mm-hmm. George Springer, Tyler O'Neill, Dan Strafford, 18 seconds on the clock.
I'm going to go to the pitcher I was hoping would be there, which is Max Fried.
That was the guy I was hoping would be there for me, but he is not now.
Consistency. I don't think he's an ace, per se, of a fantasy staff, but if I can get a couple more like him, I'll feel a lot more comfortable.
All right, very good pick there, obviously. My queue has been emptied. That is all. So now I've got to do a little digging right now. They all went fast and furious. Real Muto, Mondesi, Nolan Arenado at 6'8", Javier Baez at 6'9". So back to me. Clearly, I've got to do something about the infield a little bit. And you know what? I don't love third base. I'm going to tell you, you guys talking about positions you don't love. Not a big fan of third base. I'm going to take that fella named Alex Bregman because I think he's pretty good, and I think people have forgotten it. So I think Bregman in the 6th round here at 6'10" is an absolute steal. I don't know why I didn't get the steal emoji. I wish I did, but I did not. I like the emojis. I need that, what is that? Dan, you're a smart guy. What is it when you need approval all the time?
You need approval. I don't
know. Isn't there a word for it? Way to drop the ball there, Strafford. Eloy Jimenez goes next, Brandon Lau, then Jose Abreu.
I don't know.
Stop it. Now you're just making things up. JD Martinez at 7:02. So in the 7th round, Abreu and Martinez go. Again, some interesting names out here in terms of that middle infield. There are 2 pitchers I really like here. Trying to validation? I think I might wait on them.
Validation? Is that what you want?
Validation, thank you. I couldn't access the word. Thank you very much, Dan Strafford. You're very, very helpful for me. I am going to go ahead and make a panic pick here of Jorge Polanco because I did. I just panicked here. I only had a few seconds left, but I like Polanco, so it's not who I wanted to pick. I couldn't get to that guy in time. But what are you going to do? This is it. It's hard to host the draft and draft, but no excuses. Ketel Marte goes next. Giancarlo Stanton at 7:05, then Jack Flaherty at 7:06, Dylan Cease at 7:07. Dan Strafford, you're on the clock for 7:08.
Yeah, this is now deciding to chase pitching a little bit more or go with another outfielder to try to get to ratios I like. I think I'm going to go pitcher here and go with Luis Castillo. And I know there's some question marks on the season, but I like the strikeout totals. I also like that maybe Cincinnati blows it up and he ends up pitching somewhere better this year.
All right, very good. I like Castillo in the bounce back, too. In the 7th round, I think it's a good value. Jonathan India was the guy I was trying to take, but I couldn't get there in time, so he went 7:09. Will Smith at 7:10. 7:11, Jose Barrios, which puts Justin Mason on the clock for the last pick of 7 and the first pick of round 8.
Yeah, see, I need pitching now. So I've got my reliever set up, but this is what I mean because I can get now 3 guys in my top 25. In spite of the fact that I waited and really built that offense. So I'm going to take Frankie Montas and Trevor Rogers. And Trevor Rogers is a guy
that was my guy. I was trying to wait for him to come back, but you got me, Mace. Well done.
Yeah, so Trevor Rogers is a guy that if he had not had a family emergency that made him leave the team last year, people would be taking him as a top 20 starter. And he's going just a little bit lower than that because he missed that time. So I love Trevor Rogers this year.
Great pick. I love him too. He's the first draft I've done where I didn't get him, so I'm obviously not happy about this at all. Yes! So let's continue on, and we'll figure out the board here after Justin Mason takes his selections here. Let's go through. It is Correa at 8:02, Edwin Diaz at 8:03, Clase at 8:04. Dan Strafford, you are up at the 8:05 pick.
You're pretty Clase. Those are the 2 I wanted. Diaz and Clase were the 2 I had in my queue. So I'm going to pivot and go back to some power and go back to Cincinnati. And I'll take some Jesse Winker action here. Pick up some home runs, pick up some runs and RBIs, and live to fight another day on the closer route.
All right, living to fight another day. After that, let's see, Charlie Morton goes, who I was considering, but before Morton went, Winker, then Morton, Chris Bryant, Justin Verlander, Alek Manoah, then 8-10, I am up on the clock here. So I could go closer here and take good old boring Aroldis Chapman. And I think I will. I'm just going to go ahead and suck it up and do it, and I hate it. I hate taking closers, but I'm going to take one here and then see what happens and see what kind of pitching might make it back to me. Carlos Rodon goes next. Brian Reynolds, incredibly undervalued at 8:12. Love that player. Mitch Haniger at 9:01 goes next, and Sean Manaea at 9:02. Now it comes back to me, taking a shot on Blake Snell or Yu Darvish. Shane McClanahan also on there. Pablo Lopez available. So some fine guys out there still potentially available here. Some stolen bases on the board too if you like Jazz Chisholm. On the first base market, few guys still out there as well. But you know what? I'm going to go ahead and take a shot on Yu Darvish on a bounce back. I know I'm going to get the Ks from him. I think I'll get some Ws if he could just kind of, right the ship a little bit, have a little bounce back year. I think that could be a good value there. Rendon goes 904. After that, Jazz Chisholm off the board 905. Immediately after I talked about him, the wizard heard me. Ryan Presley at 906. Franamil, the Franmil Reyes, 907. Dan Strafford, you're up for 908.
Yeah, if I didn't pick as many outfielders as I had, I might go a different direction, but I'm going to try to get some balance and positional eligibility with DJ LeMahieu and hope for the average bounce back. I think 2021 was a little bit of an aberration. I don't think he's a 340 hitter. I think he's a 290 to 300 hitter, which will help my lineup right now.
Are you afraid of what you saw last year from him? Because it really was a miserable season.
I am, and there aren't a ton of stats that point to it being completely out of nowhere, right? There's nothing that says, oh, his BABIP was crazy or, balls in play changed. But I think that some luck played, and I think settling the defensive side of the ball for him matters a little bit. I think the mental aspect for him, having a position he's playing regularly, I think should help out. So give me a 280 DJ LeMahieu, and I'll be happy at that pick.
Don't forget he was playing with a core injury too. He got hernia surgery after the season, and so I like LeMahieu a lot. I'm gonna take a couple outfielders that have multi-positional eligibility in the infield. I'm gonna start with Tommy Edman, guy who's gonna add more speed, can play second
jerk, you jerk! I can't believe another guy you sniped on me. Hate this.
And then I'm going to take Jared Walsh. Again, first base outfield eligible in this format.
Power.
Fantastic power. Really loving this team. I hope I grade it out really well here. It's a value pick. I got a little emoji.
Why don't you just give me a paper cut and pour lemon juice on it while you're at it? I mean, this is ridiculous. All my guys go to Justin Mason.
If you're into that, I mean,
I am. I'll text you after the show. Clayton Kershaw at 9:10, then 9:11 Ryan Mountcastle. Tommy Edman at 9:12, Jared Walsh at 10:1, then 10:2 Cody Bellinger goes. So there's your Cody Bellinger value in case you're looking where he might be. Yep. Nate Eovaldi at 10:03, Kenley Jansen without a home, but probably a closer somewhere, 10:04. Dan Strafford 10:05.
Yeah, this is a drop-off point for me at first base. I know injuries have been a problem, and he may have not lived up to the hype, but I like Rhys Hoskins for a bounce back this year. I think that the park continues to be great for him, and the power numbers will continue to come. So I'll stick with him this year and slot him in at first base.
All right, Nelson Cruz goes next, then Bobby Witt at 10:07, Trent Grisham at 10:08, Blake Snell all the way 10:09, and that is up to me right now. Top pitchers on the board, Pablo Lopez, Framber Valdez, Lance McCullers. Some interesting names, that's for sure. I think McCullers has that next step potentially in him, so I'm going to go ahead and take him. Even though it says take Pablo Lopez, I'm going to go try to get a couple more W's and squeeze him out. Although Framber is the color of my energy, everyone knows that. I'm going to go with the other guy instead in Lance McCullers. Dad jokes, you're welcome. Max Muncy goes next. Still waiting about that injury. Blake Trinan, nice value there, 10-12. Team 1 is crushing it. Team 1 bot. Love Team 1 bot. Will Smith, Josh Bell in the 11th round there to start. Back to me, looking for some offense here. I can't believe I'm going to do this. I'm looking at the first base. I'm looking at some of the options here. Obviously, little light on the stolen bases here. Don't love those options. Justin Mason took Tommy Edman from me, which I am not going to forgive him for. I'm very upset about that, and I'm going to continue to be upset about that for quite some time. At this point, it's between two guys at first base, CJ Cron and Joey Votto. I'm going to go ahead and take Joey Votto here, I find it hard to believe in CJ Cron. It was a great year. It was a great value, but I'm going to go ahead and just take Votto and just solidify what I think is going to be a steady guy. Pablo Lopez goes 11:04. Then Austin Meadows goes next. After that, at 11:06, Yohan Moncada. Dalton Varsho at 11:07. Dan Strafford, you are on the clock.
I'm going to go with what I consider to be the last closer. I don't even know if I consider him a closer, but the guy I think will be there at the end of the year, which is Gallegos out there in St. Louis. Paul Sporer convinced me of that last time I spoke to him, but beyond that, I'm locking down saves wherever I can.
Don't listen to Paul.
I agree. I agree here, and I think that's going to be the guy who comes out of St. Louis and gives you. I think there's 25 to 30 saves there, and that's what I'm looking for at this point. I think we're going to see so many bullpen by committees, so many 10 to 12 save guys that now I'm done closers. I'm going to wait till the back end of the draft.
All right, so let's continue to plow through here. Gallegos off the board. Tyler Mahle goes next at 11:09. Yasmani Grandal at 11:10. Framber Valdez 11:11. Justin Mason, make a wish. And there, Sean Connery pick right
I'm going to
here.
go pitcher again here, and I'm going to pair someone who's come really, really safe in Chris Bassett, who's just super, super underrated, pitches in a great ballpark in Oakland. And I'm going to pair him with a guy who maybe has a little bit more risk, had an elbow injury last year, but ended up pitching really strong. And I've been turned around on. I was really low on him starting draft season on Zach Allen, but I'm starting to buy in. I'm going to pair the two together because they work well together. And now after starting my rotation really late and really building an offense, my rotation's still pretty good. This is why you can wait on starting pitching this year.
With Gallen, Justin, do you think his injury is priced in to his ADP right now?
I think it is, yeah. I definitely think it is.
We just had Fast on, and he loves Gallen, and I do too. I think if you look at the first 150 innings of his career, that's elite in terms of his performance. I'm going to give him a pass on last year personally, but how about you, Justin?
Yeah, he finished last season with the most amount of innings thrown in the second half. So I was a little worried because he did have like that UCL issue at the beginning of the year, that after the broken forearm. But after he came back, he was great, and so I had him really low in my ranks to start this offseason, but I've pushed him up. He's a top 35 pitcher for me now.
It's a great value at the 12th round, no doubt about that. Luis Garcia goes 1202, Kyle Schwarber 1203, David Bednar goes 1204, Dan Strafford, you are on the clock.
I went with Mr. Swanson. I believe in the power. Don't love the dip in average, but shortstop starts to scare me beyond Swanson, so bit the bullet there, and we'll hope for better later in the draft.
All right, looking around here right now on that board, Joey Gallo goes next, Jordan Romano, CJ Crone, Jake Cronenworth, who is on the... Man, I am getting obliterated on this queue today. Let's see, we got Ian Anderson at the top of the pitching board right now, Eduardo Rodriguez, who, I've loved in the past, but going to Detroit doesn't always do that for me. I'm going to take a little bit of a risk here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to wait, because I think he's going to make it back to me. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait. We're going to see what happens here. Instead, I'm going to go ahead and make another pick. Looking around and surveying the board right now, I need some middle infield help, that's for sure. Certainly some stolen base help as well. That would be great, but I'm not going to get that. So instead, I'm going to take Chris Taylor. It gives me a little bit of everything, and I can play him everywhere. And then I'm going to wait and see here. Slight reach, it says. They gave me this face. The Debbie Downer face, which I absolutely love. Can't get enough of that. That's the same one that your wives give you, that face, every time you guys try to make a joke or say something in your house. I'm going to go ahead and take a risk here with Mike Clevenger at 1303. Another guy that Fast and I spoke quite a bit about. And once again, you look at what this guy's done in his career. If the health is there, the performance could be off the charts. So we shall see what happens there. Willie Adams at 1304. Mark Melanson, boy, that's a sexy pick at 1305. Miles Straw at 1306. Then we have Avisail Garcia at 1307. Dan Strafford, you're on the clock for 1308.
Even with the single catcher league, I was looking at Contreras here as my pick. So I am now pivoting, trying to figure out exactly where to go. And this is a guy who I just can't quit. I don't know if, Joe, you're going to be able to peg it before I get to him. But a starting pitcher, a guy I've liked many years over. And you know what? I'm going to pivot because I don't want to draft another Cincinnati Red.
Hey, man.
I think I've
got 2/5 of the San Diego Padre rotation right now.
I'm going to pivot. I'm going to go to a corner infielder and shore up that spot with Matt Chapman. I'm going to try to get some power out of corner infield, maybe swap some people around.
All right, so Chapman goes over there to Dan. Mason, I know you are anxiously awaiting where you're going next with your pick, but I'm going to try to recap these real quick. After Chapman goes, Eduardo Rodriguez, then Jared Kelenic, and then Lourdes Gurriel. Justin Mason, you are on the clock.
Yeah, so right now what my team needs is a little bit of power. So, and I need outfielders. I only have drafted one outfielder.
That's because I have them all. We'll make a trade after the draft.
Yeah. So I'm going to start with Hunter Renfroe, who's going to be going to Milwaukee. Power should play on him, and then pair him with his former teammate in Alex Verdugo, who can help kind of balance off the bad average I'll probably get from Hunter Renfroe.
Bad attitude.
Or bad attitude. So I like that pairing right there. So Verdugo and Hunter Renfroe get a little power from one guy, a little average from the other.
I love Justin how he's so yin and yang when he drafts down there, right, Dan? Like, I'm going to take this guy and then that guy. Like, I'm going to take the hot one and then the one that's just, got a really good personality. He's going to go through all these different things. So Renfroe and Verdugo go over there to Mason. There's some good value. You can tell Justin's been doing 5,000 drafts a day. Ranger Suarez at 1402. Justin Turner, 1403. Trey Mancini at 1404. Dan Strafford, you are up next at 1405.
Yeah, roster construction-wise, I'm feeling pretty comfortable. Probably need to chase some pitching soon, which will get a little dicey at this point in the draft. But I'm going to stick with offense and actually go with someone who gives me a lot of positional eligibility. I'll go with Ty France here. It's not the sexiest pick, but I think gives me plenty of flexibility on my roster, but also plenty of counting stats when all's said and done.
Fair enough there. Ty France had a good year last year. He was one of my favorite, free picks, basically. If you wanted him, there he was. He was free. All right, going through here, the next couple picks after Ty France. Brendan Rodgers goes 1406, then Eddie Rosario 1407, Michael Conforto 1408, Adolis Garcia at 1409. There was some good cheap power late. All right, looking around here, definitely need some corner help, some middle help. I could also take another outfielder because goodness knows I can't get enough of those guys. I wish there was a little bit more stolen bases out there. But you know what? I think right now, looking at the board, let's see. It wants me to take Sonny Gray. I don't want to do that. I'm sorry.
That's my boy.
I just don't. There's part of me that thinks that maybe John Means will benefit quite a bit with the removal of the wall all the way back, the removal of that. Oh no, I took somebody again and I got the slight reach on it. So I would think that John Means could benefit from the moving, of the wall back another 30 feet, which is a lot.
They call Torres a reach there?
They called Torres a reach there, which I don't think he's a reach, but it did give me that face. So I took Torres. We'll see if I get some bounce back. Actually, Hayes was that guy going back and forth between the two of them. I panic picked a little bit, but I took Torres there because he did steal more bases than I think anybody expected last year. Torres, Hayes, Sonny Gray, Rizzo, Hyunjin Ryu, and I am back on the clock yet again. And let's see here. Jose Urquidy, Logan Gilbert, John Means out there. Again, keep coming back to Means, but I don't know. I just can't pull the trigger. At the end of the day, I'm going to take a guy that I just want on my roster, and it's Michael Kopech. I don't know how many innings I'm going to get, but I think the ones I get are going to be electric. So give me that guy on my roster. I want him on the roster. I need him on the roster. Logan Gilbert goes next at 1504. Then Craig Kimbrell at 1505. Marcus Stroman 06. Robbie Grossman 1507. Dan Strafford 1508.
I love Kopech there just because, again, you don't know what you're getting, but it's going to be elite most likely. And middle reliever or a starter, you're going to have some great numbers.
Probably a bit of both. That would be my guess.
Yeah. I'm going to go really boring here and draft Anthony DeSclafani, just the guy who's going to give me solid ERA and whip. And anyone in San Francisco at this point, I'm at least mostly confident in as a starting pitcher.
All right, mostly confident. There you go, Dan Strafford. DeSclafani goes, then Dylan Carson. Dan Strafford, mostly confident. Austin Hayes at 1510, Corey Knebel at 1511. Justin Mason, you've got two more picks in a row to break my heart again.
Yeah, again, still need some power and also need a third baseman. So Eugenio Suarez, who's dual eligible this year. I don't know what the batting average is going to look like, but he had a really, really nice September, made a little bit of change to his swing, and I think that can kind of carry over. Hey, a little thumbs up value pick. Love that.
There you go. Right there. The emoji validation's important, isn't it? It's nice.
It is. It does. It makes me feel
We don't get it in real life. It's nice to have at least the draft wizard to validate us once in a while.
Absolutely. And then I don't know what I'm going to do with my next pick. I'm kind of looking around. What I kind of want to... is there anybody that's really sticking out to me anywhere? Not really. So I'm going to go with a guy who had a nice little breakout, is triple eligible, which is always great, in Luis Urias. I love the power kind of bump up, got 20 home runs, can steal some bases. And I think that batting average can come back up. He's a really good contact guy. So triple eligibility is always great.
All right, triple eligibility continues on in Justin Mason's roster building and his construction. Jose Urquidy at 1602, Stevenson 1603, Doval at 1604, Dan Strafford, you're up for 1605.
Yeah, looking at some starting pitching here and think I can wait on it, so might chase one more outfielder. Having this weird stoppage in labor has made someone like Jorge Soler probably fall down draft boards because we don't know where he's going to be playing. But I do love the idea that the National League should have the DH this year. So I'll take a risk here on Soler and assume wherever he ends up, he'll get DH at bats and give me some power.
All right, fair enough. Let's see. Did that pick get made? You did make it, right, Dan?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just loading up a little slower on my end, so hopefully
It went Hendricks, Kelbert Ruiz, Escobar, Wainwright, and then you are on the clock.
I am. So I'm waiting for my clock to show up, so that way I'm on it. Because
right,
that's,
understood. Because you can't be on it if it's not there.
Can't be under the clock. Got to be on the clock. Oh, right. There we go. Okay, thank you very much. You're such a professional, Dan. Recapping for everybody there. Well done. All right, let's go through here. Looking around, I could get a little bit more power there with Josh Donaldson, who will play probably all of 10 or 11 games. I could go through a couple of the other guys here. Looking at my queue and the names that are out there, I could take a shot on one or two, but at the end of the day, I don't really love where this is at. I'm going to end up probably having to go ahead and take a guy and hopefully get a little bit of... Oh, no, wait, he's here. He's still here. Give me John Means. Let's go. John Means with the lower ERA and all the sticky stuff. He made it back to me. Give me the John Means. All right, let's go. Of course, the projections aren't good for him yet, but I think that's a yet. Akil Baddoo goes 16-11. What a great story. Gene Segura, Ryan McMahon, Ahmed Rosario, all the rest of the guys I had in the queue. So right now I need a little bit more in the stolen bases area, so give me Raimel Tapia there, because goodness knows I love outfielders, so we'll give him the last one. And I got the thumbs up. Thank you, Draft Wizard. I needed that. Been running on empty. Got the thumbs up emoji. Experts rank Raimel Tapia at 183 overall. I got him at 195. That's a value. Luis Severino is 1704. Much to the chagrin of Dan Strafford, 1705. Scott Barlow, then Alex Kirilloff, Tariq Skubal, and then Dan Strafford.
Yeah, I'm going to go with an oldie but a goodie here and trust that the stats from 2021 were indicative of what we might get 2022 from Brandon Belt. I think Belt's offense is legitimate. I think the power increase is legitimate as well. Health is a concern with that guy year in, year out.
That guy.
But I like Bell. I think he had a great season and would have been a key part of the playoffs. So what was it, a thumb injury at the end of the year for him? So keep an eye on his health-wise, but I dig him this late in the draft.
Digging him. All right, let's go after that. We've got Brandon Belt, Ramon Laureano, then Brandon Crawford, Adley Rutschman at 17-11, Justin Mason up for 2. So how do you want to split these this time, my friend?
That's a really good question. I need another outfielder. I need some power. Let's see. Where is he? Dun, dun, dun. I'm going to take Marcelo Zuna, who's going to be back this season, hitting the middle of that Braves lineup, going to be the DH, and that should help kind of pump up a little bit of my... they say it's a reach alert.
Uh-oh.
I don't care. It doesn't hurt my feelings whatsoever.
Yes, it does. Don't lie. It absolutely, there's a little bit of you that just died because of that reach alert.
And then I'm going to take starting pitcher in Alex Wood. A lot like Descalfani. When healthy, he's pitching in San Francisco, which helps kind of cover some of those warts. There is a little bit of injury risk. You want to have a safer rotation with a guy like that, but I love Alex Wood this year.
All right, Alex Wood, then Noah Syndergaard, 1802, Armand Marquez, 1803, Marcana, 1804, Dan Strafford, you are on the clock at 1805.
Yeah, continuing to keep an eye where starting pitching is shaking out. But I'll reach a little bit here. I'm sure I'll get an alert from the software here. But I think Jordan Montgomery showed strides last year. He had the pedigree in the minor leagues, and I think he puts it together this year to give me some nice back end to the rotation.
You know what? I thought this was going to be fun having you guys here. It hasn't been. It's terrible. You guys are just taking all my guys, which is good. It means that, if you guys are on, then
it's validation. It's
the right thing. It's validation. This is all about validation. That's what it's all about today.
Word of the day.
Word of the day, indeed. Now it's come to a point where I'm looking at the categories and what I'm lacking in, and I'm going to have to take a shot here on Josh Donaldson. That's right. It happened. Here we go. I needed more power, more RBI, and we'll see if I can bump myself up there. I got the slight reach. Wah, wah. Sorry, boys and girls. So after you took Montgomery, Gurriel, Houck, Sandoval go, Ian Happ went. Then I took Donaldson, Kike Hernandez, Joe Ryan. Then the 19th round begins. Andrew Benintendi, Rogers, 1902 for the Twins. And then it's up to me yet again. So let's take a look at who's in Joey P's queue right now. Sponsored by the Draft Wizard. I'm going to take another good arm. I just want this guy. I don't know what he's going to do, where he's going to do it, but Alex Reyes. This is my whole thing this year in the Roto formats. Just take a bunch of good arms and see what happened. Yes, it gave me this, oh my God, scary reach alert. 89% chance that he would have made it back to me, you know what? I don't care. It's the time of the draft now. We're in the 19th round where I just want my guys, okay? I just want my guys. God, just leave me my guys, Draft Wizard. All right, stop trying to run my life. Joe Adell at 1904, Aaron Savali 1905, Adam Duvall at 1906, Colton Wong 1907. It's a good value there on Wong. Dan Strafford 1908. You are up.
Quick question for you. Do you put Hauk and Kopech in the same sort of conversation, that the elite talent, and see what you get from them?
I guess I like Kopech more.
Yeah, sure.
But I can understand that. Yeah, same kind of thing. I just want good live young arms. That's what I'm trying to get here. And whatever quality innings they give me, I'll take it.
Oh, they're yelling at me. I'm going to go to a starting pitcher, and he's a slight one, a young one, but Tristan McKenzie has the upside. I think we'll see what he really develops into this year and whether or not that frame can sustain a major league season. But I like his approach, and I like him as a pitcher when healthy.
Do you think your frame could withstand a major league season, Dan?
My frame after the past 2 years of COVID, yes. My frame before COVID and 28 or 30 pounds ago, no, it could not have.
30 pounds? Who are you kidding? Candelario, Gregory Soto. Shut it. 1910. Luke Voigt, 1911. Justin Mason. That's fine. Justin Mason, you're up for 1912.
I'm going to take another guy that I was kind of out on coming into draft season, but the more and more I've dug into him, the more and more I like him. That's Frank Schwindel, the first baseman for the Cubs. Allows, my positional flexibility allows me to move Walsh into the outfield, put Schwindel in there. He's got no competition, and he makes a ton of in-zone contact, over 90% last year. I think he's a really good bet to actually kind of repeat what he did in his 300-something plate appearances. And then Joe's taking his guys. I'm going to take my guy. Anthony Santander is a guy that I've loved for a long time. Just needs to stay on the field. There's a lot of pop in that bet. Yes, the fences have moved in Baltimore, but I'm not too worried about that for him.
All right, so Santander goes. They got A.J. Pollock at 2002, then Brady Singer 2003, Jonathan Scope 2004. Dan Strafford, you are up for 2005.
According to the rankings here on Fantasy Pros, there is a Dan Strafford guy in the mix, but I'm not going to take him. Will Myers has been somebody that I've taken.
That is the Dan Strafford guy. In fact, if you don't take him, this whole draft is
what's
incomplete.
Funny is I'm going to blow your mind even further, and I'm not sure that Bobby Dahlback's going to be the guy all year in Boston, but I will take the upside of the power and position flexibility here. Fantasy Pros has him listed first base, third base. I will again take somebody that I can move around week over week when I need to.
This is so uncomfortable. I've never been in a draft with you where you didn't take Will Myers in the last 25 years. So it's very weird. Cal Quantrill goes after Bobby Dahlback. 2007, John Gray. Tony Gonsolin, 2008. Gavin Lux at 2009. That puts me on the clock. I need some more pitching help. Alex Fast is smart. We had a nice conversation about Oscar Yanoa, and I'm going to go ahead and take a shot on the young kid there. Hopefully he doesn't punch anything this year, and he can make it through a whole season. But 122 innings, got me 7 wins, maybe with 124K, somewhere in that range. I think all of that is possible. It's not going to help my ERA necessarily, but again, Draft Wizard doesn't like me again. It's gone right back to the Debbie Downer, so it's fine. It's fine, Draft Wizard. Casey Mize goes next, Andrew Vaughn. Then in round 21, we've got Zach Plesac, Jamison Taillon. That puts me back on the board again. And I just feel like I want to keep taking pitching here, so I've got a choice. I could go with Steven Matz, or I could roll the dice with Steven Strasburg. Is Steven Strasburg even going to pitch? I don't know. But you know what? I'm going to just call it safe here. Give me Steven Matz and just say whatever. Hopefully,
I love Matz this year.
Yeah,
I do too. Yeah. I think he did a good job last year for the Blue Jays. I think getting out of New York was a good thing for Matz, to tell you the truth. I think it was a little bit too much hometown pressure on him. And I think this is a really calculated signing. There's a couple organizations when they go after a guy. Mm-hmm. Cardinals are one. Obviously, any pitcher that ends up, we talked about Corey Kluber a lot in the last podcast, any pitcher that ends up with Tampa, my ears go up, obviously. So after Matz, Azulay goes, then Dustin May at 2105, Ober at 2106, Gio Urshela at 2107. Dan Strafford did take Will Myers. And
they gave me a steal.
He was. He was. He's absolutely a steal. IKF goes at 2109. Trevor Bauer, 2110. So now Justin doesn't have to make that pick. Adam Frazier at 2111. Justin Mason, you're on the clock for the last pick of 21 and the first of 22.
I'm going to take a guy that isn't getting enough credit on these Fantasy Pros projections, but it's O'Neal Cruz. He's going to be up at some point early in the season. Got a ton of power. He's got speed. I think he's going to make enough contact where it's all going to play. I think he's going to be an absolute star, rookie of the year in the National League for me. Love me some O'Neal Cruz, and then I need to pick a starting pitcher. I'm going to go with Josiah Gray.
Okay.
I know there's a little bit of homer problem there, but I think he can figure it out. Top prospect, lots of strikeouts, and a decent place to pitch in Washington.
You have to be loving life, man. I mean, you've been a Giants fan forever, and the fact that they were so good last year, was that just like incredible for you, Mason? Like so unexpected, I feel like, right?
I thought they were going to finish like fourth in that division, and for them to make the run they did, it was disappointing to lose to the Dodgers in the playoffs, but I mean, we were playing with house money.
All right, house money it is. Torkelson off my queue and on to Team 11 at 2202, then Kikuchi at 2203. Gary Sanchez next, Dan Strafford, you are on the clock.
I'm going to chase middle relievers and potential close saves here with Devin Williams out in Milwaukee. I'm not handcuffing just because I have a hater. I'm not doing that at all. I'm just chasing a guy who could give me 8 to 10 saves simply because of rest throughout the year.
All right, a little bit of a catcher run just happened here. After you took Williams, Rasmussen went, then Rojas, then Mitch Garver, Christian Vasquez back-to-back. It is up to me now, and oh, goodness gracious. What does my team need? Certainly I don't need any more negative emojis. I don't need that. I'd like some positivity, please. I would love that. Could use a little help with the whip. That's where I could use a little bit of help here. I'm going to take another live arm. I can't believe he's still here. I'm going to take Christian Javier, pardon me. I got my all my Christians confused there for a minute. Catch a run. I'm going to take Christian Javier to just another live arm once again. That's my plan here. I think he's going to end up. But yeah, it's a slight reach. I hear you. I know everything. My whole draft is a slight reach. Thank you. That's going to be my t-shirt. Slight reach, Joe Pisapia. It's because I'm shorter. Aaron Ashby at 22-11, Travis d'Arnaud at 22-12. 23rd round, Kevin Biggio, Garrett Whitlock, and then back to me. Where shall I go next? Who knows what's going on? Ooh, this is kind of a fun one here. I kind of like Mike Yastrzemski here. Let's go. That's a late value there. Let's take Yastrzemski, see what happens there. Oh, guess what? Reach alert. No kidding. All right, Matt Barnes goes next. Then Suzuki, 2305. Zunino at 2306. Alec Boehm, who I was considering there. Dan Strafford. That would have been a great pick there if you could have snagged him. But what does your team need right now, Danny boy?
I'm pretty confident in the team right now. I need one more pitcher and a catcher to round out my
If you're
starting.
confident in it, it can't be any good.
But I'm also not drinking, so it's
That's
there's that too.
Yeah.
Pretty solid on steals, solid on power. Batting average, I'm not going to find right now. It's just going to be what it is. May just chase a. Let's have some fun with a guy who I've loved throughout his career. He's old. The wheels aren't there, but the power and the RBIs and the home field still give him some upside with me. My main man, Charlie Blackmon. Give me him as my 6th or 7th outfielder and hopefully get some decent run out of him.
Just like you, Dan. Not what he was, but still
Step
slightly
slower.
Useful. Yeah, just barely useful. Nicky Lopez, 2309. Andrew Heaney, 2310. Jake McGee at 2311. Justin Mason, you're up on the clock for 2.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do.
When did you become Edward G. Robinson in this draft? So you're gonna make some picks for the Roto League. Say yeah.
I'm gonna take some Nathaniel Lowe or Lowe, not Lau, Lowe.
Don't confuse your lows and lows. It gets all out of control.
Coming around on him a little bit too. So I think he's a guy that he's not gonna hit for a ton of power, but I think there's a nice little speed bonus there and some good average.
As Little John once said, "Get low."
Mm-hmm, yeah. Being with you, girl, is like being low.
And then, let's see, I don't really need a whole lot because my team is so darn good.
I do not like this team that I've drafted. I can already tell you I'm miserable. I want to restart this whole thing, but we can't because there's no time. So, all right, you're on 20 seconds there, Mace.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Max Kepler, another one of my guys. Power, speed. It looks like my team's going to be punting batting average anyways. So
just lean into that curve.
Might as well just say screw it and go for it. and be happy with the result.
All right, so after Kepler, Toro goes, then Bader, Joey Wendell, new home in Miami for Joey Wendell, nice, useful player. Dan Strafford, 2405. You are on the clock.
I just got the NFBC horn in my ear at the same time as this draft going.
Yes,
on.
I heard it.
That'll wake you up. I'm gonna go for a bat who gives you at bats at least, and maybe has some upside. Eric Hosmer. This late in the draft, at bats are there typically for him, so I'll take him as a bench player to hope for some upside.
All right, I guess I'll take a catcher because I guess I have to.
I was waiting. Yeah,
you know me. I wait as long as I possibly can. Tommy Pham went after Hosmer, then Hampson, Carson Kelly, Josh Young. Nice pick there. He was actually on my queue too, so of course I don't get him. So I'm gonna go ahead and take Sean Murphy, good Italian boy. Put Sean Murphy there at my catcher spot in Oakland, and then it's gonna wrap back around. Kirk goes, then Lucas Sims at 2412. Fletcher, who was also on my queue, then Sanchez at 2502, back to me for 2503. Let's see. You know what? That's a good suggestion there. I like where your head's at here. Kind of a boring pick, but you know what? Jesus Aguilar, boring, decent. Plug him in there. Drive in 85 runs. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go get him. Diaz goes 2504. Then Kyle Lewis, Jeff McNeil, Dylan Floro, and then Dan Strafford for 2508.
Yeah, I was. Kirk was in the queue, and I was holding out to draft him, and now I am in the Netherlands of catchers. It is ugly here, so I'm going to wait even longer. Let's see. What do I need still? Anything? Just bench players and a pitcher still.
Just bench players and a pitcher. There you go.
I'm going to throw caution to the wind.
Caution to the wind.
You know what? I will take a catcher. I'll take Omar Narvaez here. It's fine. I need somebody. He's a warm body at night.
That's what Justin Mason's wife says about him too. It's a warm body at night. That's about it.
It is very, very true. So I need a pitcher I need a catcher, and probably going to take a couple pitchers. Let's see. My top remaining catcher on the board is Max Stassi. So take him. Nothing special. I think there's some upside there, especially if he can stay healthy. And then I really want to finish out my bench with a couple of pitchers. So my next pick is going to be a guy who can maybe get me some win potential in Kyle Gibson. Plus, he's always been my boy. Mowed Paul's lawn for many years. Did a cameo for Paul for his birthday. So Kyle Gibson, welcome to the team.
I think it's amazing, too, looking at the categories right now where we are. Justin Mason right now actually just went from being third in whip to now behind me. In ERA. Third in ERA to now behind me in ERA.
How did that happen?
I don't know.
They hate Kyle Gibson.
They hate Kyle Gibson that much. But the funny part was, it was still like you went from 3.8 something to now 3.96, and you dropped precipitously because of that, which is amazing. It's that one pick, Kyle Gibson, just ruined it all. All right, quick recap here. Eric Haas goes after Dan Strafford made his pick. Then Tyler Naquin, 2510, Molina, Stacy, and Gibson. Lane Thomas at 2602, Trevino. Brandon Nimmo, 2604. We'll see if he plays. That could be a value pick there. 2605, Dan Strafford, you are up.
I'll go with somebody who had some sexiness to him a long time ago, but fell on some injuries. Yes, you are bringing sexy back. Denilson Lamet. I know there are all sorts of question marks around his role and exactly what he'll be doing out in San Diego, but I'll take a risk here.
What he's doing in San Diego. All right, looking around here, maybe some cheap power. Let's go ahead and take Randall Grichuk here. Let's just throw him on the bench there. We've got one more pick left to go, boys, so make sure you're ready. Get the pocketbooks out. We got Luis Arias at 2611, then Joey Bart at 2612, Paul Sewald at 2701, Joe Barlow at 2702. Back to me yet again. Another one, too. I'm just going to go ahead and, what do I want here? Do I want that guy? No. Do I want this guy? No. It's saying Jock Peterson, but I don't think I could do that to myself. I just don't think I can do it. Don't like Didi Gregorius either. This is a tough spot to be. You know what's a good spot to be? I'm going to take him, even though it's going to yell at me. somehow always Jonathan VR lands on his feet, and if he does, those feet are going to steal second base. So go ahead. There's my extra stolen bases right there. My last pick, Jonathan VR. Nick Senzel goes next. Hey guys, remember when Nick Senzel was supposed to be like the greatest player ever? That was awesome. Brad Hand, then Riley Green, 2706. A little bit of prospecting here. 2707 for Bradley Zimmer. Dan Strafford, 2708. You were a prospect once, Dan.
No, that's not true.
Oh, that's right. You had no prospects. That's
exactly.
what it was. I always get that confused.
I will chase a elite middle reliever here with Johnny Lasagna, Jonathan Lowe Isaaca, and assume Aroldis Chapman gets hurt.
There you go. Thanks, Dan. Because I have Aroldis Chapman. Ortega goes next, then Riley Green and Cortez. Justin Mason, close up shop here for us, baby. Let's go.
Oh, this is hard for me, because do I take the player I actually like, or do I take the player that I think helps me beat you guys in this mock draft?
Take the one you like.
No, play the game. Play the game. Play the game.
I will tell the listeners I like Kyle Finnegan to close in Washington, but using the Fantasy Pros projections, it tells me to take Andrew Kittredge, which will help me in my ERA and WHIP, bump me up a little bit, and maybe help me pass you guys in the standings. So. All
right. Well, as soon as the draft is over, now we get our grades. I got a B, which honestly, that's polite. I think. Okay. I got 86 out of 100. It's a B. I'd go to war with this team. I like some of the upside. We'll break down the roster in a second. So you got a B. What was your number? Mine was 86.
85, which this is unfortunate.
So even though you tried to game the system, you still lost to me. That's good, Mason. How about you, Strafford? Where are you at?
An A-, 90 out of 100.
Oh, see, this is... I trust none of it. I trust none of
it. Justin Mason demands a recount. It can't possibly be true if Dan beat him. No. All right, let's take a look at the projected standings here after we got our grades, and this is what's fun about the mock draft simulator over at fantasypros.com/mock draft simulator here. /draft wizard. Sorry, boys and girls, when you're rattling a lot of names here, a couple hundred, you start to lose your mind. fantasypros.com/draft wizard is where you get all this. And let's see. I am team number 6. Justin Mason, team number 7. As long as I beat Mason, I really don't care. Dan Strafford, your day in the sun, your team number 3. I told you, team number 1 was having a hell of a draft.
Yep.
They are up there at number 2, and team 2, that son of a gun, all the way up there. Some steals here for me. It says I drafted Josh Donaldson in the 18th round, 3 rounds later than he was ranked. 18, the number of at-bats he will have before getting hurt. Yastrzemski in the 23rd round, another steal for me. Jesus Aguilar, definitely a steal there. Reaches, Joe's entire team. No, Reaches, it says Michael Kopech, but I'm at peace with that. And Alex Reyes, I'm okay with reaching those guys. Hot take here from Andy Behrens, actually, of Yahoo, likes my team. Thanks, Andy. I always liked you, too. Here's a what-if scenario, which is great if you like the Marvel stuff over on Disney. If you drafted Eloy Jimenez at 6'10 and drafted a third baseman later, I would have been significantly higher, and it gave me this emoji.
Yeah, I got a third baseman. It said if I drafted Freddie Freeman at 2.5 and drafted a third baseman later, your score would have been significantly higher.
Go ahead, Dan. Give me some of your draft insights that the draft wizard has bestowed upon you.
Steals, Soler, Myers, and Charlie Blackmon, saying Charlie Blackmon drafted 6 rounds later than he was ranked. Hot take, Roto Champ likes my draft. Roto Champ, I haven't met you, but we can be friends. And you drafted 2 players ranked in the top 3 at their position, Bryce Harper and Rafael Devers. Makes sense when it was my first 2 picks, but fine. I will take it for what it is. That is the summation.
Not bad. It loves my hitting. My wins and Ks, very good. Saves, obviously, for me, I always punt saves in drafts. So if my deficit is saves in a draft, I'm always at peace with that. My whip and ERA, 10th and 9th, it does not like me at all. But again, it's 1.22 and Dan Strafford is 1.22. So, I mean, it's separated barely. Right. Barely. Justin Mason, let's get some insight on your team.
Well, it apparently likes the fact that I drafted Frank Schwindel and Nathaniel Lowe and Max Kepler. Those were all steals, apparently, in this draft. It says I reached on Rafael Iglesias in the 5th round. I don't think that's a reach. I think people are going to see
the market today.
The market today. I don't think this this draft wizard's caught up on the market yet. And then it told me O'Neal Cruz, a huge upside on O'Neal Cruz.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
right.
I love O'Neal Cruz. Top player that I drafted was Ozzie Albies. He's my 2nd round pick, of course. Top second baseman off the board. Pierre Camus of Rotoballer likes my draft more than any other expert. I like Pierre. He's a very, very good analyst. What if I had chosen better friends? So I wouldn't get embarrassed
into a draft.
embarrassed in a mock draft on radio. It's a weird insight from Fantasy Pros.
Very, very specific.
But yeah, I don't know. Says I should have chosen.
What
better
if
friends,
you
apparently.
didn't move to Massachusetts? Wait, what? What's happening?
All right, Mason, let's stick with you. Take us through your roster real quick and recap it. Your strengths, your weaknesses, if there is one.
I mean, I feel like my team is pretty darn good. If I have a little bit of a weakness, it might be power, but that's a weakness I'm totally fine with. Going into season, you can always find power. There's always power on the waiver wire. Like, they're it's the Bobby Dahlbecks of the world up here every year. So I'm not super worried about that. My strengths, in spite of starting, late on pitching, I still think I put together a pretty darn good rotation. Obviously, my closers are elite, getting Rossi Iglesias and Hendricks. So I think overall a pretty good team. I think it would be very competitive. I'm very disappointed in my grading. I wish I got a better grade.
I think your grading was spot on. I think the Draft Wizard was exactly correct. You're one less than me, which is exactly right. Your roster is Max Stacy at catcher, Nathaniel Lowe at first base, Ozzy Albies at second, Trevor Story at short, Eugenio Suarez at third, Frank Schwindel, Tommy Edman, and then in the outfield you've got Kyle Tucker, Jared Walsh, Hunter Renfroe, who I love in Milwaukee. I love that pick, Macy. You did a great job there. Alex Verdugo, great pick there too. Anthony Santander, and then Urias over there as utility. Then Frankie Montas, Joe Musgrove, Liam Hendricks, Raciel Iglesias, Trevor Rogers, who I absolutely love. I think that guy's going to be an absolute stud this year. Chris Bassett, Zach Gallen. Your upside between Rogers and Gallen is tremendous. Alex Wood, Josiah Gray, and then the bench is Kepler, Ozuna, Kittredge, injured Kittredge, by the way, Anyo Cruz, and Kyle Gibson. So you feel pretty good. Would you go to war with this roster?
Yeah, I'd absolutely go to war with this roster.
Would you go to TGI Fridays with this roster?
Ooh.
All you guys just get like a private room or something. Just get a bunch of nachos.
It depends on what the special is. Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
Is it a special nachos? It's been a few years since I've been to a TGI Friday.
The last time I was there was so much salt in the food. Like my daughter and I were like, I can't even eat this. Like it's so salty. It's like this food would last throughout some sort of like some sort of nuclear disaster. I feel like. Dan Strafford. Speaking of nuclear disasters, what's your roster look like?
Oh jeez.
I'm just kidding. You won. So what do you got to worry about?
Omar Narvaez at catcher, Hoskins at first, DJ LeMahieu at second, Swanson at short, Rafael Devers at third. Then have Chapman and France at the corner middle infielders respectively. Harper Mullins the second, Castellanos, Jesse Winker, Jorge Soler. Right now, Charlie Blackman slotted into the utility. Max Fried, Luis Castillo, Josh Hader, Gallegos. Then you have DeSclafani, McKenzie, Jordan Montgomery, Devin Williams, Nilsson, Lamet, and then Belt, Dalbach, Myers, Hosmer, and Loizaga on my bench. I would say my bench is lacking pitching. Right, so if I have any injuries, I'm kind of up a river, without a paddle sort of thing.
Well, I can't imagine an injury between McKenzie and Lamet. That would be impossible.
It would never happen. And what role Lamet has?
Right.
He did 2020, 90 strikeouts or something like that. Whatever innings pitched, everyone thought he was back, and then last year just seemed to fall off the face of the earth again. The talent's been there, and so I'll invest in talent and hope for a role to come together. I know they said he's going to be in the rotation. I really think he's a power reliever, and I think he ends up being. Yeah. I hope he ends up being, whether traded or with the Padres, somebody who can pick up saves and holds throughout the year. The bench depth, definitely in the pitching side, is concerning. Power's there. I have batting average. I have steals. Again, I'm chasing steals at 8 to 10 clips. If I can find guys who are going to give me that sort of upside. I will balance it out. I'm not going to chase the Alberto Mondeses or other guys who are.
Well, there's not a lot of those guys to chase anymore. Let's be honest. No. I mean, the 8 to 10 clips is basically how you got to get steals, unless you get one or two of those guys early, unless you have Trey Turner or one of those kind of guys. So That's just where stolen bases have gone. For me, Sean Murphy at catcher, Joey Votto at first, Polanco over at second, Chris Taylor at short, Alex Bregman at third, Josh Johnson in the corner spot, Gleyber Torres in the middle infield spot. Then I've got Juan Soto, Luis Robert, Aaron Judge, I like that grouping. Randy Rosarena, Romuald Tapia, and then Jesus Aguilar is my utility guy. Then my pitching staff is Lucas Giolito, Yu Darvish, Chapman, Kopech, Lance McCullers, Clevenger, John Means, Yosker Yanoa, and Steven Matz. I like that too. I'd go to war with this group for sure. Mike
I want to double down on Matz being somebody I'm very high on this year.
Now I like him less. Yeah. Now, so wait, you both like him a lot? Then I would like him.
Absolute worst. Joseph P. Joey P.
Yastrzemski, Christian Javier, Rendell Grichuk, Alex Reyes, and Jonathan Villar to show up somewhere stealing bases for someone because I do believe he will.
Yep.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, like, I'm going to make a last draft pick, especially in early drafts and best ball right now. I feel like that's the case. Now, look, if you want to watch this draft, if you're just listening to the podcast, absolutely go over to our YouTube channel, Fantasy Pros, the MLB channel specifically. There's a separate one for just our football stuff, but if you go to Fantasy Pros MLB over on YouTube, you can subscribe to that. We're going to have leading off every single day in season when the season starts. And we got amazing shows coming on in the next few weeks here. We got some great guests. We're going to have Alex Fast and Nick Pollock together debating and arguing pitchers. And I'm going to play the moderator. That is must-see stuff. But you got to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Last year was the first year of it. We made incredible gains. We want you to be a part of it. And again, you can watch all the mock draft episodes over there on the YouTube channel. So check that out, youtube.com/fantasypros. And don't forget, also make sure you head over and try a draft yourself at fantasypros.com/draftwizard. Again, you can do incredible things, any settings you want, the number of teams, draft slot, make picks, take them away, redo them, do them a third time, fourth time till you get the team you want to really see the board. Justin Mason, you're doing so many drafts, so many things going on. Give a little tidbit here for the people and let them know what it's like out there in that crazy draft world that you're out there every single hour of the day doing a draft.
Yeah, I mean, it is crazy right now, especially in those closers. They're going extremely high. But I will be doing a bunch of live stream drafts this year. So especially if you like,
they're so entertaining. By the way, everybody go check out Mason's today. I watch them; they're so fun, man. You have such a good time.
Yeah. So I mean, if you want to see what it's like to draft a high stakes league, $1,700 main event league, you can go over to my YouTube and watch me, or follow me on Twitter at just MasonFWFB. I'll be live streaming those out. I'll also live stream my auction for Tout since that's going to be online again this year. So. A lot of fun ways to draft, whether you're doing it at Fantrax or NFBC or Yahoo or ESPN, like a lot of different fun places, but definitely get in some drafts.
Yeah,
baseball's
and
coming, baby.
Let's hope they will eventually. It always does eventually. And also go to RotoWare too and check out the Justin Mason collection and go support a good cause there for TGFBI. And of course, like you said, follow him on the Twitter machine at Justin Mason FWFB. Follow Dan Strafford at Dan Strafford, clever handle there, and make sure you subscribe to his new pod, The Dish, because if you're lazy in terms of the way you prepare for a season, you're just like Dan, and Dan's done it for you. So it's even less work. All you got to do is listen to the pod. Dan, you're one of my best friends in life for 30 years now? Is that how, I mean...
So it's about the 25-ish.
25, but who's counting? Counting?
That is a long time to put up with Joe.
Yeah,
I mean,
isn't it? I just absurd.
Joe,
but that's a lot.
Baby. High school.
That's a lot. The 25 is a lot. But Dan Strafford, tell the world what else you got going on these days.
I mean, that's the long and short of it is at the Fantasy Dish over on Twitter, deciding whether or not to do a website and continue it into the season. My wife will have a say on that, I'm sure, at some point. And just looking to talk to anyone who enjoys playing fantasy baseball, who has strategy coming into the year, and wants to share that with other people. So if you're listening to this and interested, reach me at Dan Strafford. And beyond that, it's the full-time job, the full-time family, and enjoying BSing with all of you on Twitter and elsewhere.
I'm just happy you got Will Myers at the end of the day. That made my heart smile. Every draft.
I mean, the Will tattoo would not have worked out well if it
Seriously. All right, that'll do it for us, but the story of the game goes on. For Dan Strafford and Justin Mason, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.
Thanks for tuning in to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel. Don't forget to check out our featured videos. And while you're at it, make sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at FantasyPros, so you can get the latest news and updates to give you the edge you need in your fantasy league.